So, how are we doing, fellow reality magicians? It has now been over 24 hours since I have slept. I thought before going to bed, sometime in the next bunch of hours, I would share with you my experiences on how I was introduced to reality magic, or magic on Earth. And so this will form the basis of the 6th installment, the last installment of the basic series on reality magic and becoming a reality magician. Again, the whole point of becoming a reality magician is becoming a reality magician by choice. It is about accepting the fact that you are a magician. Now, it might sound easy coming from me. It might appear easier if you've watched a number of these videos on reality magic. But really, on a personal level, it can be a very difficult thing. Probably because the idea of magic is steeped, is drenched in historical inaccuracies, is drenched in mistruths, half-truths, lies, deception, evil magic, voodoo, all kinds of negative connotations of this area of magic. The only magic we accept is on a stage with the magician playing tricks and cutting people in half. We can accept that, but we know that's illusion. These are illusionists. By the same token, you're not here, you haven't been watching this because you're normal. So magic identifies people who are not normal, who are exceptional to some extent, who exhibit qualities and skills that not everybody has. And that's why I've stressed throughout these videos that it's important that this reaches out to people who are magicians or who might be magicians. Because we are a very different kind of people. And we don't need as much proof and evidence to understand something phenomenal, something out of this world. We don't need someone to hold our hand and tell us this story in order for us to know that it's true, in order to know that someone died for some other reason that occurred in another dimension. We don't need to be convinced that some aspects of reality exhibit a science fiction quality, a Twilight Zone-esque feel. So a reality magician speaking to a reality magician, we have this common ground. Now, true, there is a lot of deception. True that a number of magicians have been deceived, have themselves been led astray. So they feel they get their revenge by leading others astray. Again, these things shouldn't stop you. You're going to find this in any field. You're going to find jealousy, hatred, competitiveness. You're going to find pettiness. You're going to find spite. You're going to find corruption. You're going to find sin. You're going to find dark intentions, dark agendas. You're going to find conspiracies in every field. So you can't think you're going to enter this other field and it's going to be all pure. Again, this comes from these new age gurus coming out talking about love and compassion. And if you do good, only good comes to you. If you think positive, your life will be positive. If you help others, they will help you. And to some extent these are true. To some extent they're true. But it's just like saying, if you put one leg in front of the other, you will move forward. To some extent that's true. But if you put one leg in front of the other and you're on a hill, you might slip and fall. If you put one leg in front of the other and you're on your back on your bed, you're not going to go anywhere. You see? So what's happened is these new age gurus have provided these ideological truths that have not been properly clarified and stated. In other words, even you do good, even you are the holiest person on this earth, if some dark magician wants you in the hospital, they will put you in the hospital, even you do good. In fact, by doing good, you may piss off these negative entities. You may piss off some kind of dark agency. You may make someone feel spiteful and vengeful that you are doing so well. Just like I say, even the happy antelope will get eaten by the hungry lion. Even a holy worm, a good worm, never bothered anybody, doing his business, will get stepped on by a pedestrian. Is that good karma or bad karma? A good worm will still get stepped on. Is the pedestrian evil? Or the pedestrian is just walking, putting one leg in front of the other. By putting one leg in front of the other, that pedestrian is squishing the worm that has done good his whole life. If I do good, if every day I wake up and I do my best and I think positive, and in thinking positive and doing good, right, in thinking success, I decide to rent a house. I decide to rent that particular house, and I go check for vacancy, and I say I want that particular house, I want that particular apartment. I have the money. I'm feeling good. But there's a particular tenant in there who has not been paying their rent, who's been struggling, who's going through a divorce. But the landlord says, well, this guy here, he's got a job, he's pretty happy, he's positive, he's going to pay the rent. I'm going to kick the other girl out. So by me doing good, I'm causing harm to another person. Nothing exists in a vacuum. And we discussed this. I'm just reiterating it because it's an essential point, it's an essential part of my discussion today. All of these things come together from all angles. and it's called life. And it's called life is unpredictable. Life will always surprise you, even you do good. So the way I was introduced to reality magic, or to magic, was by accident. It was by accident. I had never, ever considered it as real, ever. It was a fantasy idea. It was found in the movies. It was found in stories of Merlin, the magician. But in 2006, as some of you know, I volunteered to fly a starcraft, a ship. I simple-mindedly, innocently decided, volunteered. I said, I'm going to fly a ship across Earth's skies. I'm going to help the star beings to reveal their technology, and I'm going to help human beings to acknowledge on a global scale that they are not alone in the universe. And I did so because I saw these star beings. I saw these stellans. And I was aware they had ships. And I was in contact with a human group that has been trying to get this UFO disclosure, to break through the cover-up. And everybody had failed. Everybody, every group, person, agency, everyone had failed since the 1940s. I said, I can do it. And I was very simple-minded and naive, because I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea what to do, and I had to figure it all out. Anyway, I get into this thing, I get into this project, I conceive a plan, I know the parameters. There are a few bad agencies, there are these people who want this UFO disclosure, there are these other people trying to get UFO disclosure, and there are the star beings who says, we'll assist you if you make the effort. All you have to do is learn to fly the ship. But what happened was, when I volunteered, when I started this program, I became the target of magical attacks. Now, when I say magical attacks, at the time, I had no idea what they were. So they were magical. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I have severe pains in my head. I don't know why I can't sleep anymore. I don't know why I feel like I'm about to die. I don't know why I have the 24-hour flu. I don't know why I have a migraine headache. But I knew that there was something else going on, that the enemy, let's say, the enemy was against me. But none of this had anything to do with extraterrestrials. You see, the star beings who were assisting me had never mentioned anything about magic. The human group that I was working with had never mentioned anything to me about magic. And before this, when I was listening to radio programs on ETs and aliens, nobody ever mentioned magic and sorcery combined with extraterrestrials. He's coming. So I'm stuck now. I've now volunteered. I am in this situation. I have made a commitment. But I am now experiencing a whole new paradigm that no one's explaining to me, and I do not understand. But I knew after a short period of time that this has to do with black magic or dark magic, because it was causing me a lot of pain. And there are many times I felt like I'm going to end up in the hospital. Now, this only increased on an incremental basis the closer I got to success. In other words, I was getting close to succeeding. I was getting close to succeeding of flying this ship, an impossible task. But there were days when I was getting very close. And on those days I was getting very close, these magical attacks multiplied in intensity and knocked me back a week. So I would progress to this tipping point, and it's right before I hit this tipping point, I would be attacked by things I did not understand. And no one was explaining to me. And I would be knocked back to a week behind. In other words, I had another week to catch up to where I had arrived at. And by the time I started to reach that week again, I would be knocked back again. And this was the pattern. This is why this mission eventually failed completely. Because everything I did as a physical person, everything I did as a determined person, everything I did I knew could not overcome the multidimensional attacks. And these multidimensional attacks were not explained in detail. They were not covered. I didn't get the handbook beforehand. And so what happened, whenever something happened to me, whenever there was an attack, I would be told after the attack. And I would say, okay, they attacked me on this level, okay, I recover after a few days, and then I would try again. Then there would be another attack, or a series of attacks. And that would send me back, that would cause me injury and harm, and that would further delay this mission. Again, it has nothing to do with ships and ETs. We're talking about a whole new paradigm that I was not aware of. I was sent back, and then somehow someone would explain, this is what they did and this is what happened. And this kept happening over and over again, but each time it was a different attack. So in other words, even though I prepared for one kind of magical attack, that magical attack did not repeat itself. So there was an attack, I'm made aware of the attack, I recuperate, and then there's another kind of attack. I'm made aware of it, I recuperate, and there's a different attack. But each time we're moving forward, I move one step forward, I move 2 steps backward. But all of this had to do with magic. So anyway, the mission now is in jeopardy. The mission is in trouble because I am not able to overcome these attacks because they're always changing. And they're always attacking my weakest aspect. For example, one of the things I required to fly the ship, I required my energy. You know, your energy has to flow through your body. I needed my energy to flow through my body in order to communicate or link up with the ship's energy, so that the ship's energy and my energy were in harmony, were in unison. If that didn't match up, I couldn't fly the ship. I mean, that's just one of many aspects. So I had to build up my energy. So the magicians, the evil magicians would attack my energy and would drain me of my energy. They would suck all the energy out of my body, and therefore that prevented me from linking up with the ship. But to build up that energy required a significant amount of time and energy, of time and effort, and by the time I reached that time and effort, they would attack the energy again. The energy would be drained, and I wouldn't be able to achieve that aspect of the ship, achieve that aspect of the mission. Now, there are many aspects to the mission, but each aspect was attacked using magic. Magic means what? As you know, it's multidimensional. It's invisible. You can't see my energy, but on a magical level, you can see my energy. You know, at one point, I kept trying, and at one point, there was this magician. There were a number of them, but this one seemed a lot more dominant, a lot more powerful. He appears in the nighttime when I'm sleeping. He appears and he begins to attack me. He begins to really try to kill me. I see this powerful magician. Again, I have no magical training. I have no idea of this magical world at all. I've never associated magic with extraterrestrials. I never assumed that magic was being used in the extraterrestrial field, the UFO business, because no one's really discussed it publicly, not that I was aware of, because they all stick to facts and evidence, and if you start talking magic, they're going to think you're really nuts. I was attacked by this magician every day. I mean, severe attacks. These are attacks that cause harm. I didn't sleep for an entire week. I couldn't keep down my food. My energy was very weak. I couldn't do my training. I scratched through the day. When I woke up, it took many hours to get my energy and to feel motivated to do something. These were severe attacks. He attacked me every day for a week, and each day was a different attack. And I didn't understand it at first, but it was like he was trying to poke and prod me to find a weakness, right? So he would attack a certain aspect of my body, and then the next time he would attack a different aspect of my body. He would change attacks to see what I'm made of. And I thought, okay, he's trying to hurt me. I don't know this person. I figure he's involved in protecting this UFO cover-up. That's just my assumption. I know he wants to hurt me. I know that sometimes when I go to bed, I don't know if I'm going to get up in the morning because I don't know what I'm dealing with. I have no real skill to deal with it. At the end of the week, after poking and prodding, he went in for the kill. He went in to kill. Again, this is what it felt like to me, that the attack on me was like somebody, stabbing a knife, a sword through my heart. But it felt real. It felt like this is going to kill. Somehow, I survived. I woke up the next day after being brutalized and tortured for an entire week, and at the end of that week, there was a severe strike on my body to kill me. Now, I had other attempts on my life. I know what an attempt is, and this was an attempt on my life. But it had to do with magic. And in the normal world, this stuff doesn't make any sense. But I felt it, and I knew that my life was in danger. But at the end of the week, I survived. I thought, okay, maybe I'm gonna make it. Because that was very intense. That was the most intense, severe week I've had so far. But within a few hours of that week ending, there was this other magician. Now, I haven't recuperated from that previous week. I'm extremely worn. I'm malnourished. I'm not eating. I'm extremely tired. I still have this mission on my head that's being delayed and delayed. And now I'm dealing with things I can't even explain to my group. I can't even explain to myself. And we'll get to the real moral of the story as we go on. The second week was a series of attacks from another magician. And this was a powerful magician, sorcerer, whatever you want to call it. It was a dark sorcerer who wanted to snuff me out. Why? Why did he want to snuff me out in addition to his other friend wanting to snuff me out? The only reason at the time I had was because I'm trying to fly this ship. If I fly the ship, everybody's going to know about extraterrestrial people because I'm going to fly a real ship. So this guy did the same thing. For a week, he attacked me to see where my weaknesses were. He tortured me to weaken me, to weaken my energy. And at the end of the week, he went in for the kill. Again, it was a serious attempt, but somehow I survived. So now it's 2 weeks, I'm not sleeping. On top of all the other attacks, on top of all the stress and all of my requirements, I got these two guys just tried to snuff me out. It's 2 very intense weeks of magic, people who are not in my vicinity, non-local assassins. This cannot be explained rationally, but this is what happened. And this is what I felt. And this is, I even was able to, these people were so into my life that they were physically present almost. It's like I could see them. If I closed my eyes, I could see this figure trying to snuff me out. The second week, now I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm worn. I've survived 2 magical assassinations. I figure, what's next? Well, there's a third guy. There's a third magician. Within hours of that second guy trying to stuff me out, there was another magician. Again, powerful. Again, has to be connected to the other 2. Now he starts to go at it. You know, each time these guys come on, they're fresh. These guys are all fully energized and fresh. And they got a strategy. And these guys are professionals. I'm this guy. I'm the target. I'm the lamb. I don't know what's going on. I'm already exhausted after all these weeks of failing the mission. I'm now severely exhausted from all these attacks and I'm not able to recuperate. I'm barely hanging on because now these guys, 2 weeks have been attacked by these professionals. The third guy comes on. I haven't recuperated. He goes at it the same thing. And each of these guys, I can see that they're connected because they're doing different things. They're really, you know, it's like if you attack a person 100 times, you can find all the weaknesses, right? You can find out, if you poke them, prod them enough, you will know where they are weak and where they are strong. And you will do damage as you go along. This guy goes on about 3 or 4 days, maybe 5 days. I haven't slept for weeks. And then he goes in for the kill. Somehow I survived. I said to myself, not 1, not 2, but 3 dark sorcerers came after me in succession. Somehow I'm still alive. But the story's not over. Within hours after the third guy, the third sorcerer, all three of them materialized in the multidimensional spectrum. All three of them supercharged and energized, and now they have an advantage because they know my weak spots. And so what they did was they cooperated, they joined together and struck me, struck my body, struck my soul on the weak spot that they've been prepping for the last 3 weeks in conjunction. They were cooperating. They've been cooperating. So these guys set out to kill me, and they were magicians. And what they ended up doing was they succeeded. They struck me and the light went out. I remember I felt the blow of these three people at once on my soul, and it went black. It went black for a very long time. And since I've had other attacks, I've had near-death experiences. And this one was a death experience. This one was a kill. What's important to know about this, it goes back to what I said in the beginning. Even you do good in your life, it does not mean good will always come your way. I had lived a very good life. I'd helped people my whole life. I'd been a generous, decent, honest person who worked for a living. These guys came after me to kill me, on top of everybody else. But these guys were very deliberate, and they strategized, and they planned, and they succeeded. Was that a result of my good karma? Did I know these people? Did I offend these people? I didn't know these people. I had never met them. I had never been involved in the magical business. I had only just stepped into this UFO cacophony, this UFO mess. So I had no chance to really piss anybody off in the UFO business. I had only just entered in months ago. And I had not known anybody in the magical business. Nobody in my family or in my immediate groups were magicians in any way. So I didn't know these people who went after to kill me. But they came after me to kill me. So that's my point. In the magical business, these things can happen. Now, obviously, they knew something about me that I didn't know about myself, and that was a threat to them. I was such a threat to these people that their paranoid, schizoid, sociopathic characteristics decided we have to get rid of this guy. He is a danger to our business. But I was a nobody. I was a nobody who accidentally volunteered for this mission. What did this mission of flying a ship have to do with magicians? And why were these powerful magicians, why did they come after to kill me? These are big questions I didn't have. I had the human group saying, hey, how come you're not flying the ship? I had the people online says, hey, didn't you say you're going to fly this ship? How am I supposed to explain that I got these dark sorcerers who have been trying to kill me, who have severely handicapped my entire mission in my life? And now they had succeeded in killing me. Obviously, I'm here speaking to you. So obviously, you can think on a couple of levels. Well, did he die or not? Well, I did. I was brought back. I was brought back from death. But I know for certain I died. And you know when you die, you know you die. And I knew that they succeeded. They succeeded in killing me. And I had a number of near-death experiences and a number of very strange death scenarios. And this one was the cap. This one was like, shut the door, this guy's gone, it's finished, game over. And this is, if this was a movie, the guy would be dead, game over, and then there would be a divine intervention that this guy magically comes back to life. And that was basically what happened. Some powerful being says, okay, this guy was unfairly wiped off the face of the earth. He had no chance. Let's bring him back. And that's basically what happened. I mean, in simple terms, someone took mercy and said, these guys, they went for the overkill. Let's bring this guy back. But here it is, magic being applied to someone who did nothing wrong to these people. I did nothing wrong to these people. I had done nothing that evil in my life to deserve that in any way, shape, or form. But in the magical business, all bets are off. It's a jungle. People don't like you for specific reasons. Now, the mission to fly the ship failed. I admitted that I failed the mission. I personally could not succeed. I could not overcome all the challenges. There were many other challenges. I could not overcome it. I wasn't able to do it. I decided to back off in the fall of that year, especially after hearing there was another pilot. I said, okay, there's another pilot. This guy's fresh. This guy's ready to go. I don't understand what the hell's going on. I've already been killed. I've had a number of attempts on my life. I can't seem to fly this ship. I'm going to back away. And everybody got upset. I got yelled at. I got people who hate me. I got blacklisted. I got called a lot of names. No one actually said thanks for offering your life to do it, and maybe next time we'll do better, but we'll always be there for you. They never said that. The only people were some Stellans who were close to me, but human-wise, nothing. Now, this is where the story gets even more interesting, because I failed that mission, and according to everything I experienced, there was no way I could succeed. If I wanted to succeed, I should have had some magical training. Someone should have said, Paris, you're going to be attacked by dark magic. This is what you can expect. If I had that training prior to starting the mission, I think I would have succeeded the mission. Because that was one of the big aspects I didn't understand. That was one of the big aspects that was severely hurting my body and hurting my work and sending me backwards each and every week. But I didn't get that training. And since I was not aware of it and I was not told of it, I didn't ask for it and I didn't know it existed until I volunteered. When I volunteered, I seemed to piss off all the wrong people. And these people had extreme prejudice against me, whom I didn't know these people. All I was doing was innocently trying to fly a ship. So I wasn't given the training. I didn't understand magic. I failed the mission. Everybody's upset at me, calling me names. It was a very bad period of my life. My personal life was devastated because of all my sacrifices. And then it was about a month after, within a month after I stopped the mission, I had these strange dreams. And these strange dreams, it's like, you know, it's like an explorer. You know, it's like Christopher Columbus, who's been on the ocean for a very long time and eventually discovers land and discovers America. And that there was this elation of being lost at sea and then discovering land, and then reaching the land and discovering people, and then discovering everything else, and then realizing this is an important day in his life. I had that, but on a multi-dimensional scale. I had discovered something on other dimensions, and this was like a how can I describe it? It was like a secret fortress on another dimension. Let's see if you can follow me here. On another dimension, the magicians had created a secret base, like a military base, like an underground military base, but in another dimension. But not just another dimension, a distant dimension, and it was purposely hidden. So it was a hidden fortress of magic. There's all magic now. But now I believe in magic, because I've been attacked and I was killed by magic. I was killed by magicians. So there's no doubt in my mind that magic can kill you. Had I died on those nights, I wouldn't have woken up. The police, the ambulance would have came and says, this guy died in his sleep because there's no physical damage. And the doctor would say he probably died of a heart attack. But it would be completely untrue because I can tell you what happened. I just did. So about a month after the failing of the mission to fly the ship, a really important mission of which it was impossible, I did everything I could, and everything I could, I had everything else against it that I couldn't understand. There was always something I couldn't understand, always sending me back a step. I discovered this hidden fortress, and in this hidden fortress, I discovered all kinds of magical things. This hidden magical fortress was connected to the earth. And some of the magic used on the earth was being kept, was allocated to this fortress. It's like in Star Wars, there was this, there was the Death Star. Remember in the Return of the Jedi, there was the Death Star? And that Death Star was protected by a force shield on the surface of the planet, so that they couldn't fly into the Death Star to attack the Death Star until they took out the force shield. To take out the force shield around the Death Star, they had to destroy the generator on the surface. When they go to the generator on the surface, there's all kinds of soldiers and battles they have to go through. So this is when Han Solo and Princess Leia go to the surface to deactivate the shield by destroying the generators, and that would take away the force shield from the Death Star, and then the ships could fly in and start attacking the Death Star. Well, this is the same kind of idea. It's not the same thing, but the same kind of idea. This hidden magical fortress was the base of some magical attacks and shields and cover-ups on the earth. Some of these magics were supporting cover-ups, were supporting illusions, so that we couldn't get through the cover-ups. We couldn't break the cover-ups. We couldn't break the illusions. Some of these attacks were on people, keeping them asleep. They were keeping people asleep, and then they were allocating those attacks on this hidden fortress. So people couldn't wake up because the origin of their sleep was in another dimension using very, very powerful magic. And there were attacks on the Earth. So Earth wasn't functioning properly because there were powerful magics applied to the Earth, but it was reallocated to this distant dimension that was hidden in a fortress of magic. Now, none of this makes any sense on a logical level, but we're not talking logic, we're talking reality magic. If this stuff doesn't make any sense to you, then you are not a magician. If this stuff makes sense to you, then obviously you are some kind of magician. If this stuff sort of makes sense to you, but not quite, then you're still at that point of waking up. So you can tell by my discussion what level you're at. Now if you've been listening so far and you're saying this stuff doesn't make any sense, this guy's crazy, this guy has no proof whatsoever, this guy has no evidence, then if you're that person, you are not a magician. If you're talking to that person, you're talking to a non-magician. You're never going to have a non-magician agreeing with a magician. Magicians got to stick together. Reality magic is an advanced sphere of knowledge. And we don't want these normal people in here because they don't understand these things. So I'm dealing with all this stuff. This isn't very early on in my career. I'm trying to make sense of it all. I'm working a lot on intuition and faith because I don't understand anything what's going on. I've never studied magic in my life. I've studied it as they're trying to kill me. That's when I was studying magic. Oh look, he's casting a spell. Oh look, I'm about to die. That's when I was studying magic. I went to the real school of magic. I was taught, it's like learning boxing by throwing you in the ring with a Muhammad Ali. Here, kid, learn boxing, but I've never boxed before. Boom, boom. Uh-oh, I better put my hand up or he's gonna knock my head off. That's how I was learning magic. And you can see a lot of bruises, and a lot of people wouldn't make it this far. Somehow I did. That's not because of skill, trust me. Now, I went back and I realized something very important. Now this is what I realized, this is what I came up with, this was my epiphany. I took on this mission to fly the ship. Not to fly the ship, because obviously there was no way I could fly this ship. There was just too much against it, and I didn't have the skill to overcome it. Unless somebody helped me to do it, and then that would have ruined the whole mission. It was my mission. They're not supposed to help me fly it. They're just assisting. So I didn't have the skill to fly the ship. I didn't have the skill to overcome all these magical attacks. In other words, the mission was doomed to fail from day one. I didn't know that. I thought I could succeed. Otherwise I wouldn't take it. I took it, I said I can do it. And then I realized this is going to be really difficult. So the mission to fly the ship was like a decoy. The mission to fly the ship was almost like a decoy. It was like a bait. That by trying to fly this ship and putting myself in danger, I would activate all of these mechanisms designed to defend against exposure. All of these mechanisms, including magic, that would come after me, that these were all designed to protect the cover-up, to prevent you and all of society from knowing that UFOs are real, star beings are real, and that humanity is not alone, and the world is being controlled by magicians. All of that has been protected. So by myself being put in danger to fly the ship, that ship threatens their whole sham. Their whole bamboozle would fall apart if that ship flew. So naturally, they all, because they're all paranoid, schizoid, psychopaths, sociopaths, they naturally took the bait, right? They naturally took the bait and came after me. But because I continued to do it, because I had survived those powerful magical attacks, I activated their deeper resources. They had to dig deeper to get their more powerful resources. They had to access more energy. As they're doing all this stuff to direct it to kill me as a physical being, they eventually exposed their hidden fortress. Because it takes magic to conceal something. It takes magic to cloak something. That means it takes energy. So it's like if you see a ship, if that ship is cloaked, it's using energy. But if all of a sudden that ship has to attack another ship, they can't remain cloaked anymore. Or they can't remain as cloaked. And therefore they come out of cloaking and to attack that ship, and now we can see that there's a ship there, right? That's basically what happened. By putting myself into danger without knowing it, I forced them to direct all their energy at me. In the meanwhile, we were able to discover this hidden magical fortress. By discovering this fortress, which was never discovered before, it was too hard to find under normal circumstances, we were able to deactivate the force field around the Death Star. And that led to the beginning of the end. Because now that people were waking up, because people were being kept asleep, we destroyed those channels, people start to wake up. We destroyed some of the illusions and the cover-ups. Now the cover-ups start to be exposed. There's disclosures. There's alternative theories. There's conspiracy theorists. All starts to come out. People start to wake up. And some of this is connected to this particular fortress. And it had a lot of other things in there which would boggle your mind and boggle your imagination. But suffice it to say that was the real mission. If I look at it from a reality magic point of view, and with my experience now, that was the mission. The mission wasn't to fly the ship, because there's no way I could have flown the ship. If I was to fly the ship, I would have required extensive magical training. I would have required extensive flight training, how to fly a starship. I didn't have any of that training. If I had that training, I would have flown the ship. But if my mission was to find this hidden magical fortress, then I don't want to succeed on the mission. Or whoever put me in this mission, they don't want me to succeed. It was designed to fail. As crazy as that sounds on a logical human level, this is the world of magic. Remember, magic is everything is an illusion. I thought I'm going to fly the ship and dispel the UFO cover-up. Right? But that was an illusion. You see? That was the illusion. Me flying the ship. I put my life in danger, and it was all an illusion. I ruined my life. My personal life was completely devastated after that. All of it was an illusion, so that the dark forces focused on that illusion, and that allowed us to find the real goal, which was this hidden magical fortress that was shielding and protecting a lot of things that we needed to get open, and that we couldn't break through the force field until we destroyed the generators on another dimension. As soon as I figured all this out, which was really, it was really a mind-blowing week that I came up with this new theory, I went to my human friends, the people I was working with on this mission, the mission that failed, these people who hated me. I came back at them and I said, I told them the story. Guess what? The mission was designed to fail. This is what happened. There is this magical fortress. And they said to me, you're just making excuses. Face the fact that you failed. Get out of here. We don't want you anymore. You failed. You're a loser. Get out of here. That's what they said to me. So nobody would listen to that. Now it's been 6 years later, I'm sharing that story again. The mission to fly the ship, unbeknownst to me, unknown to me, the mission was to fail. It wasn't it was the misdirection. And the real mission was something else, and it had to do with magic. So it was no wonder that I was being attacked by magicians, because my real mission was magical. Unbeknownst to me, unknown to me. Now I share this story, and there are other things that were going on as well, but let's stop it there, and let's just think about all these things that were happening, because this on a higher scale is what magic is all about. It contains all of these aspects. It contains all of these illusions. There are people against you that are in addition to your life. There are things you are doing that you may be doing indirectly to serve a higher purpose. There are situations you may be in that seems unfair, but the world is designed perfectly. So whatever it appears to you as unfair on a human level, on another level is perfect. It's working perfectly. It's just that you don't understand it. So a reality magician has to realize we live in a multidimensional world, and then on some level everything is working perfectly, and on other levels it might not appear to be that case. And as well, you're going to piss off a lot of people. Most people will not be able to understand what you're talking about. Even many of you won't understand what I'm talking about. Even I talked to those people from before, they're still going to say, this is hogwash, and you failed because you failed. But in my view, this was not the case. In my understanding of the reality magic, this was not the case. That we achieved a lot of magical goals. Even though on a physical level there's a big sacrifice. And there's another thing we can look at. Physically my life suffered. My health suffered, my personal life suffered, my financial life suffered. And most of this has never recovered. But on a magical level, on a spiritual level, there were great successes, there were great accomplishments that physically we can't account for. It would be, there's no way to value it physically in the material world. But a spiritual person, a magical person, a stellar person, a cosmic person can see that what I'm talking about is not fanciful hallucination. What I'm talking about has value. And a person who understands these things will recognize there's value in it. And in your life, you will do these kinds of things. Whether it's a smaller scale or bigger scale, you will be involved in these things, and not everybody will understand what you're doing. Certainly normal people would never understand this stuff. So you have to be careful on what you say to people, because if you talk about things that somebody doesn't understand, they're just going to think you're nuts. But if you speak to somebody who speaks your language, it's a whole different story. And in your life, you may have severe hardship physically, you may have financial problems, but remember, there's another aspect to your life. And oftentimes, if you're a magician, that other aspect is as important or even more important. So if you focus on your money problems, or if you focus on your divorce, or if you focus on your job situation, you may be missing the spiritual aspect. You may be missing the magical aspect. Being a magician, again, is very difficult. It's been very difficult for me, and I was immersed in this thing right off the beat. I was thrown in the boxing ring at age 12 with Muhammad Ali smashing my head, saying, "You're going to learn boxing or you're going to die." And I'm saying, "What's boxing?" Bam! Oh, it involves a fist on your face. So these videos, these episodes of Reality Magic are giving you something that I'd never had, are coming from experience, are coming from observation and knowledge. I'm not coming from any book. Nobody taught me, nobody told me these things. I learned the hard way. Hopefully it gives you some kind of preparation for what is to come. And if you're going to be a magician, you can't think like a normal person, because otherwise you are in trouble and you could get harmed. Magic can kill. I know that. I know that not because I read it in a book and not because somebody told me. I know that because it did kill me. I know that. I will forever know that. There's nothing that will ever change my mind on that aspect. I know that magic can harm you because I've felt it, and I've felt it on many, many occasions. Normal human beings don't understand these things, so you have to understand it on your own level. Finally, being a magician is a difficult thing for anybody to say in this current world environment. Again, because it comes with all kinds of connotations, all kind of historical context. Some people had a bad previous life. They were burned as a witch, and so they don't want to be a witch anymore. Some people think all witches are evil. So being a reality magician comes with this you're kind of a closeted person. Magicians are kind of closeted, and we magicians have to come out of the closet. The more you accept who you are, the more powerful you are. So the advantage of the evil magic out there is to keep you in the closet. That keeps you weaker. You are weaker when you're into the closet. You are weaker in denial. You are weaker when you are afraid of your magical powers. Like that angelic woman who says, I don't want to use my powers, I'm going to destroy the world. What? This ludicrous, you're going to destroy the world. We need that magical power. I could have used that magical power to save my life. Had she not been afraid to use it, she could have used it to help me, because I had these powerful people trying to kill me. So the more you're in the closet, the weaker you are. They want us in the closet. So the more we come out of the closet and start to accept who we are, start to admit who we are, and start to activate our magical powers and start to develop our skills, the dark sorcerers out there and the dark magicians out there are in big, big trouble, because we outnumber them. What that's going to mean is the more of us who come out and start using magic, and you should, if you are a magician, Use magic to heal, to protect, to raise awareness, to raise the vibration. The more dark magic they have to apply on us, the more chemtrails, the more attacks, the more propaganda. And that means we gotta go more. And this clash between good and evil will create that final push, right? This final like we push, they push, we push, until finally it goes. We have revelation. Revelation is the cover-ups all get exposed. We see things for what they are. The illusions start to fade away. But the key is, you've got to step out. You've got to learn to acknowledge, even if you don't do it publicly, you have to acknowledge to yourself, I'm a housewife and I'm a magician. You know? And in the beginning, you have to say, I'm an amateur magician. I'm not very good. You know, I'm an accountant and I'm a reality magician. We have to learn to say that internally. Come out of the closet. The magicians got to come out of the closet and say, I cannot deny I got these strange dreams and these strange powers, and I got these strange voices, and I can see things people don't see, and I know things are going to happen in the future, and I look at somebody I can see through the illusion. I can't deny it anymore. I've got to come out. That's where we need to get to. Everybody starts to come out, acknowledge who you are. Again, you don't have to do it publicly, but for yourself, if you are a reality magician, you need to learn to identify that, accept that, to nurture it, because everything is going to be against you. Everything will be turned against you in order to keep you repressed. So we have to express ourselves. Develop your skills, use your skills to protect the children, to connect with the earth, to advance society forward, to raise the vibration, to dispel the illusions, to expose the cover-ups, whatever your abilities are. You don't have to wear a hat and ride a broomstick. You can be just as you are, but you're a multi-dimensional thinker, and you are a rare breed, because not everybody is a magician. And some people may have magical powers, but few people are reality magicians. And if you are one, that's special, and you decided that before you came here. So it's only natural that you accept the fact that you decided that. You accept your decision. You made a choice before you came. Now you have to accept it. And next time you make a choice, if you don't like it, don't choose it. Reality magicians, engage. Step out of the closet. Let's get to work. And let's not associate with normal people about these things. Let's talk magician to magician. Anybody else? We got nothing to say. No comment. Good luck. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. If you need to learn more, just review these episodes. You can watch them several times. There's a lot of information in them. Some of them are quite long. So have them, study them, think about them, and they will provide some basic knowledge. And from there, you'll be able to access more and more and more, and more and more and more and more and more.